Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, Police Chief Mike Niemanowski resigns from the village, a new housing development in store for Gillespie Street, and our local newspaper editor wins more prestigious awards.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. After 17 years of service, Village Police Chief Mike Niemanowski tendered his resignation to Village Manager Joe Young, stating his last day would be February 14th. The chief said he had been contemplating the move for quite some time, and this was the time to do it. The Village Council held a special meeting to accept the chief's resignation and assign Sergeant Mike Solwald interim chief. Council member Eric Dolan supported the interim assignment and told Sergeant Solwald he would support the sergeant should, if, and or when he became village chief. Council member Maureen Helmuth tearfully praised the chief for his outstanding service to the village and for turning the department around after the debacle of the previous village chief.
By a 5-0 vote, the Oxford Village Council finally approved the sale of 98 Gillespie Street, village-owned property north of Scripter Park. Clearview Home developers from Sterling Heights purchased the property for nearly half the cost the village originally paid for it several years ago, $305,000 in as-is condition, paying the appraised market value of $305,000. The company plans to build 16 residential homes on the 3.5-acre property. First, however, the company must convince the Zoning Board of Appeals to change the zoning from R3 to R1, which allows for a denser residential designation.
The year 2019 seems to be a long way out. However, it will be here before you know it. 2019 is a year designated by MDOT to tear up M24 from north of Drainer Road to the fire station on the south end of the village. A special committee has been established by the Oxford Downtown Development Authority, DDA, to plan a streetscape and work with the downtown businesses to help them get through the construction. Major concerns are truck and auto flow, directional signs, and parking accommodations for shoppers. Also under consideration are the development of multiple marketing programs, events, and promotions. A recent joint meeting with Oxford Village Council DDA and ZBA officials provided an exchange of ideas with the village consulting firm of McKenna and Associates to assist in the planning and overall development of the construction project. Stay tuned to our local OCTV program as we will be sharing more of these details with you, the public, as plans continue to unfold.
The editor of the Oxford Leader newspaper, C.J. Carnecchio, won both first and third place awards in the 2016 Michigan Press Association, or MPA, Better Newspaper Contest. The 40-year-old Oxford resident competed against 3,300 entries. This is far from Carnecchio's first award, however. Since joining the Leader in 1999, he has earned a total of 89 awards for writing and photography. CJ said initially he was not fond of the photography aspect of his job, but since perfecting the art of composition, he now loves capturing our history in photos as well. Oxford is fortunate to have such a decorated journalist recording our history. Congratulations, CJ, from all of us at OCTV.
Christ the King Church converted their huge auditorium into a dance hall room for ladies and gentlemen to show off their talents. Music was provided by the Detroit Bay Street Swing Band. To further help those in need, instructors from the Fred Astaire Dance Studio in Bluefield Hills gave some free dancing instruction lessons. In all, everyone had a great time.
Well, here's another reason not to leave valuables in your car, especially not in a public parking lot. A local woman reported her car had been broken into while eating at a local business. She told officers the car was locked when she and her children left and went into the popular business. However, when she later returned to the car, the passenger window was smashed and her purse that had been laying on the seat was missing. The purse contained $45 in cash, her driver's license, credit cards, and prescription drugs. The case remains open.
Before we sign off, we would like to congratulate Mr. and Mrs. Jim and Diane Hughes on their 57 years of marriage. Mr. and Mrs. Hughes are longtime residents of Oxford who raised both of their children here, one being our very own Jamie Hughes. Congratulations to the both of you and many years to come as well. That's Oxford News This Week.
If you want to learn more about these stories and others, you know what to do. Go to your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, that award-winning paper, or better yet, catch us right here at OCTV Charter Channel 191, award-winning OCTV, and AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up next on OCTV, filling in for Jamie Hughes is Cody Wright with Your Oxford Sports. Then catch Oxford School News with John Ochins, and you don't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles, and this is Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, an artificial intelligence, or AI, has beaten top professional poker players in a tournament for the first time. Called Libratus, the AI took on 4 of the world's best heads-up, no-limit Texas Hold'em poker players in a 20-day match at a Pennsylvania casino. After 120,000 hands, Libratus won, amassing $1.7 million more in chips than the humans combined. I'm feeling great, says Tuomas Sandholm of Carnegie Mellon University and part of the team behind Libratus. This is a David versus Goliath story, and Libratus was able to throw a pebble. This win is remarkable because poker is a game of imperfect information. Players don't know what cards their opponents have, so never have a full view of the state of play. The AI wasn't taught any strategies and instead had to work out on its own to play based on the information it received. Its algorithms aren't specific to poker and could have applications in everything from cybersecurity to fighting disease. It's an important milestone for AI, says Georgios Yakanakis at the University of Malta. This real world is a game of imperfect information, so by solving poker, we become one step closer to general artificial intelligence. Whoa. And over in Mongolia, Mongolia's iconic antelopes are dying en masse from a virus that normally hits livestock, peste de petit ruminant, I hope I got that right, or goat plague. Hunting and disease have already cut Saiga antelope numbers from 1.25 million to 50,000 over the past 4 decades. Now, a further 2,000 Saiga, about a fifth of the endangered Mongolian subspecies, have perished in the country's Kovid province, and thousands more are at risk. Although the disease is not dangerous to humans, it kills up to 90% of infected animals. Vaccinating livestock usually keeps it in check. Ibex and goitered gazelle have also been infected. If these prey species are devastated, then the food source for the endangered snow leopard will be affected, and this will raise conflict with people, says Richard Koch at the Royal Veterinary College in London. A real catastrophe. Wow. And on the technology front, Does your digital assistant know who it's talking to? A wearable device prototype could let voice-controlled assistants like Apple's Siri or Amazon's Alexa recognize their owner so they don't take orders from anyone else. The vAuth device, developed at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, uses an accelerometer hidden in a pair of glasses or earphones or worn around the neck. The accelerometer measures vibrations created as the wearer speaks. An algorithm then compares those vibrations with the audio signal received by the digital assistant. If the vibrations and the audio match, then the voice command is received as normal. If not, the assistant is blocked from responding. Computer scientists Juan Feng and Kasim Fawaz at the University of Michigan tested vAuth with 18 people saying 30 different commands. It was able to match speech vibrations with audio signals 97% of the time and did not act on commands issued by someone other than the device owner. Although they tested vAuth only with Android assistant Google Now, Feng and Fawaz are confident it could work with other voice assistants if their manufacturers allowed it. The technology comes a little too late for some Amazon Echo owners in San Diego, California, however, whose attentive devices tried to order toys from Amazon after overhearing a newsreader say, "Alexa, order me a dollhouse," on the air. Authenticating a user's commands would prevent this problem and could also protect against methods of hacking a voice-controlled device, says Feng. It has already been shown, for example, that voice assistants can be activated by white noise containing hidden voice commands unintelligible to humans. vAuth could offer security advantages over using passcodes or fingerprints to unlock a smartphone, too. A password or fingerprint requires you physically walk over to the device, says Jacob Sober at Clemson University in South Carolina. Google's trusted voice feature unlocks the phone only after matching the voice command against a biometric profile of its owner's voice. However, there are ways around this by impersonating or playing recordings of the owner's voice to the device. And such unlocking methods of authentication may not last long. 5 minutes after a phone has been unlocked, how does it know the user is still the owner and not someone else? vAuth's authentication, however, is continuous. It screens every voice message. Combining this technology and biometric voice identification, says Sober, could be the best way to secure many wireless devices. The more mobile and untethered our computing environment gets, the harder it is to really do a great job of securing things, he says. Well, that's all for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Canine Stray Rescue does just that. Rescue stray dogs for new families. But they need your help. Become a volunteer at Canine Stray Rescue League of Michigan. Take dogs for walks, help them socialize with others, and help them get adopted. Fill out an application and help a family add a new member today.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcat School Update. One of our ninth graders won special honors at the recent Michigan Music Education Conference at the Amway Plaza Hotel in Grand Rapids. Andrew Wassel's oboe concerto, called New England, was one of 19 student compositions performed there. Andrew talks about the experience.
It was a really great experience to just be able to meet all those other composers and to see what kind of music they were writing.
So is this something you'd like to try to do again?
I'm going to definitely enter again next year.
So are you practicing up now? Are you thinking about what the next composition is going to be?
Yeah, I am.
Do you think it'll be an oboe piece, or are you going to try something new?
I'm thinking, for next year, I'm thinking of writing a choral piece with full orchestra.
That would be a big job, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah. Do you think would you involve maybe Mr. Card and some of the folks around here?
Oh, I would definitely seek the help of Mr. Card because he's an amazing choir teacher, and I look up to him for that.
Junior Hayden Frankie performed the piece. I asked him how long he had to prepare.
It was the month of December, I believe. So I had about a month to prepare his piece. He asked me to play it. What I really liked about premiering this piece for the first time is that we got to work with the composer, which is Andrew, and we got to tell him what did work with our instrument, the oboe, and what was hard to do. And we sort of got it all fixed out. We got to help put the piece together.
Hayden's been playing the oboe since the 5th grade. Andrew had some thank yous to put out there.
Well, I would like to say a few thank yous, first of all, to Hayden himself for being the one to play this and learn it, and he works very hard, and to his mom for finding us the professionals to play it, and it sounded great.
And with those professionals, they were from the Grand Rapids. They were sort of what's the word? Some of them were backups for the orchestra, and some were just contractor. They were binded by a contract to do it.
So they were respected professionals, right?
Yeah, they were professionals that accompanied me playing this piece.
Both of these students want to study music in college and be professional musicians. Andrew is toying with the idea of studying in Europe. Anti-bullying is a serious topic in our schools these days. Alveus is the name of the prominent program that we use. Krista Rushlow is a 3rd grade teacher at Oxford Elementary. She explains the latest twist.
But we wanted to add in another dimension to the program, and that's just getting kids comfortable talking to other kids, making new friends. And so we added in something called Mix It Up Monday. And so in our lunchroom cafeteria, the kids are used to, they're able to sit wherever they want on a daily basis, but we found that human nature is that you go to the same spot, sit by the same people, talk to the same people every day.
Was there a particular event that inspired that, though, where you suddenly learned that there was a lot of unknowns between the kids?
Mr. Brown, our principal, was in a classroom one day talking to students, and he had asked a question, and he was surprised at the response about if the kids had spoken to everyone within their classroom like that week, something to that effect. And so he realized, he was shocked and surprised that the kids had not talked to everyone else in their class. And so it kind of inspired him to get the kids making connections outside of that comfort zone and getting them talking to kids that aren't necessarily in their normal social circle. And so he came up with the idea of Mix It Up Monday.
Krista says it went pretty well. We double-checked this with one of the kids. Here's Evan Kromperter.
I liked it. You made kids feel comfortable and made a lot of new friends. And once you guys start getting together, and then the school, you guys start getting along, and there are no fights.
Were you kind of scared at first?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but afterwards, how'd you feel?
I feel fine.
Well, it was kind of fun?
Yeah.
What about you're looking forward to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Welcome to American Legion in Oxford for the best fish on Fridays. That's right, from noon to 8:30. You can get the best walleye in Michigan. You can get walleye, baked cod, chicken strips, baked potatoes, and more. On the hall side of the Legion, oh, hello there, friends. You can have 12 friends on a table, any one of the best military museums in Michigan. And the dining side, oh, hello again. More comfortable with many 4-seat tables and a couple of 5-seaters. Now on Friday we usually have about 400 to 500 best friends for our fish. Carry out? You bet. We have 50 to 60 carryouts at the post. We have some young fins with the birthdays and some of our best seniors at the post. Oh yeah, waitresses, they go like a track waitress to get your food. If you have never enjoyed our Secret's famous walleye at the Legion, come on in every Friday from noon to 8:30 at the American Legion Post 108 on 130 East Rainer Road, Oxford.
Hello Oxford fans, Cody Wright here bringing you the latest news on your winter sports action. As we get past the halfway mark of a majority of our season, we start to see just what might be in store. So let's take a look. Tuesday, boys basketball headed to Groves High School to get their winning streak back, and like I said last week, they sure did. Freshman boys came out strong, setting the pace with a final of 65-40. Jordan Jaden and his boys finished them off later on, ending the night with a score of 64-59. The boys have had nothing but mostly success this season, and I see a long run for us towards the end here. I wish I could keep the news on a high point, but our basketball ladies just can't seem to get much going this year. Monday, our girls tipped off against our rivals, Lake Orion, on the road. All three teams were taken under by the Dragons on their home court. Freshmen falling hard to a final of 40-14, JV 45-29, and lastly, the varsity coming close but not finishing. Final score 51-50. Basketball hasn't been easy for our girls, but this may just be a developing season dedicated to building up our underclassmen for years to come. Last Saturday, our boys bowling team participated and took second place in the Tri-County Invitational at 5 Star Lanes out of a total of 26 qualifying schools, all participating from Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb County. We then returned to 5 Star Lanes on Monday to take on Troy High School, taking the W with a final of 25-5. The girls bowling also placed in the Tri-County Invitational out of 24 qualifying schools from the same three counties. Our girls only managed to place 10th over the weekend, but also took on Troy High the following Monday, defeating them 29-1. As for our bowling clubs, I'd say we are looking fantastic. Our varsity wrestling A team finished third at Oakland Macomb Duels hosted by Roseville High School, and senior Jacob Call recorded his 100th career victory as well. This Friday, our boys will be hitting the mat at the OAA Red Tournament. We wish them the best of luck and to keep up the great work. Well, to keep the good news going, our Oxford and Avondale United hockey team took on Warren Mott at Troy Sports Center. The night was short-lived and lively when our boys mercied Warren Mott 8-0. Team captain Brendan Henze had a hat trick and goaltender Aaron Angelo had a shutout. A great game to watch and an awesome night to be an Oxford hockey fan. Our varsity and JV competitive cheer teams will be headed to the OAA Championship meet at Lake Orion High School tomorrow, Saturday the 4th at 1 p.m. We wish the best of luck to our girls and hope they give us some good news to share next week. Well, there's not a whole lot to touch on this week, but we'll be back next week with more scores and updates. Always remember to stay in tune with upcoming events and Oxford sports. You can do that by checking out oxfordathletics.org. And be sure to catch our coverage of the games on our website or on YouTube. That's OCCTV.org. Well, that should wrap things up for this week for your Oxford Winter Sports. I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to tune in next week. I'm Cody Wright. We'll see you soon.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Fiat Chrysler automobiles will offset the high cost of relaunching Alfa Romeo by sharing the brand's Giorgio platform with Maserati, Dodge, and Jeep, CEO Sergio Marchionne said. Alfa Romeo lost money last year and will lose money again this year before it gets the benefit of its new models, the Giulia sedan and Stelvio SUV, Marchionne told analysts on January 26 after FCA presented its fourth quarter earnings. He confirmed that other FCA brands will use Alfa's rear-wheel, all-wheel drive platform. Alfa's relaunch has probably cost the automaker in excess of the equivalent of $2.7 billion so far, Marchionne said. FCA said in 2014 that it would invest 5 billion euros in relaunching Alfa through 2018, though it later moved that time frame to 2020. Marchionne said the Giorgio platform was designed to underpin the whole Maserati development beyond 2018, as well as large Jeeps and the next generation of rear-wheel drive Dodge vehicles. Alfa launched the Giulia midsize sedan, the first car to use the Giorgio platform in Europe and in the U.S. last year, and will begin sales of the Stelvio in the first quarter in Europe and the second quarter in North America. Marchionne did not specify which vehicles from other FCA brands would use the platform, except to say that it would be used in larger Jeeps. A source familiar with the automaker's plan said Dodge would use a lower-cost version of the platform as a basis for the next Dodge Charger performance sedan, Challenger sports car, Journey and midsize SUV, and Durango large SUV. It could also underpin a new Dodge midsize car based on the Giulia, as well as the next Chrysler 300Z, that is. And at Delphi Automotive posted a 47% gain in fourth quarter net income as the supplier continued to benefit from growth in its technologies that are aiding the evolution towards self-driving vehicles. The company reported net income of $281 million, up from $192 million during the same quarter last year. Revenue grew 12% to $4.3 billion. Delphi CEO Kevin Clark said in a statement that the company is well positioned for growth in 2017. Delphi said in 2017 it will have mid-single-digit organic growth driven by its portfolio of advanced technologies, and it will have solid operating margin expansion. By the first quarter of this year, Delphi said it expects revenue of $4.05 billion to $4.15 billion and operating income of $490 million, that is, to $520 million. The company, which has much of its operations in the United States, is based in Britain for tax purposes. And over at GM, General Motors and Honda Motor Corporation plan to invest $85 million to build hydrogen fuel cell stacks for the next generation green vehicles at a factory in Michigan. The joint venture, Fuel Cell System Manufacturing, will begin producing the fuel cell systems around 2020 at GM's Brownstown Township, Michigan plant south of Detroit, where the automaker already produces battery packs for hybrid and electric vehicles. The 50/50 project will create 100 jobs, the automaker said jointly in a January 30th statement. The announcement comes as automakers scramble to highlight their commitment to U.S. manufacturing and job creation amid calls from President Donald Trump to build more vehicles in America. Officials from GM and Honda, however, downplayed the Trump effect, saying the investment is part of a planned step in their joint development of a fuel cell system both companies intend to deploy in next-generation hydrogen fuel cell vehicles around 2020. GM and Honda say cooperating on developing a next-generation fuel cell will slash cost and boost efficiencies. The goal is a lighter, smaller, more powerful, and less costly stack that uses hydrogen as the fuel to produce electricity to power cars. The jointly developed system will be deployed in distinct vehicles from each company. The Brownstown plant will ship plug-and-play fuel cell systems ready for installation. The system includes the stack and all the related cooling fluid, gas, and electrical components assembled into a module. It does not include the battery, electric motor, or hydrogen tank, however. Separately, on the same day, the state of Michigan approved a $2 million economic development grant for the project. The total investment is expected to be $49 million and create up to 70 jobs in Michigan in 2020, according to state documents approving the grant. The upcoming fuel cell stack is being developed jointly by engineering teams at GM's Research Center in Pontiac, Michigan, and at Honda's Global Tech Center in Tochigi. GM's name for this fuel cell stack is Hydrotech. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.